All right, we're back up on the mountain again. We've already been to the lumber store. Today's project is to put a roof on this barn thing. I know, we forgot the chainsaw, so we can't cut those trees down. This tree right here and this one are in the way, but I think it's only going to be a problem when we put the metal on the roof. So yeah, we should be able to work around that today. I hope. Maybe. So let's get all of our tools unloaded, get the generator running, the air compressor, and get to work. So I don't really have a plan, but I did pick up a whole bunch of 4x4s for the corner post. So we'll start with that. So as I was saying, we really don't have a plan, but we went ahead and stood up one of these 8-foot 4x4s in the front corner. We'll get that leveled up, and I'm going to shoot some 12-inch 2x4s on the corner to help support it. I don't know if that's adequate, but it'll be a good start. All right, now we could either do the same thing all the way across the front, or we could go to the back corner and get that one. I don't know, either way they all have to get done. The issue we're gonna have is that these front posts are 8 feet tall and the roof needs to slope down towards the back, and that back corner needs to be tall enough to clear the trailer. So we should probably go measure the trailer before we put that back post in. That's probably a good idea. All right, so here's our dump trailer, and this measurement right here is what we need in the back, plus a little bit to let us put the tongue of the trailer up and down a little bit. So we're a little bit on a hill, but I think if we go like 5 foot 6 inches, that should work out about right. Now I did the right thing and bought 2 4x4 by 6 foot posts, but unfortunately they're underneath everything else in the truck. So we need to shuffle some things around, see if we can get to those. Bad planning. Unfortunately, we have to go down the hill to work on this, but that's okay. Screw in here. Modify this tree a little bit. Hot tree. All right, so we have this back post shot in. It's level-ish, and it goes up 6 feet high, and we'll go between that 6 and the 8 foot in the front, and the middle post will be however long that is. We should do the right thing and put this other rear corner post in, and that way we can tie the back 2 posts together so they're more stable maybe. Let's do that. Don't worry, I made it. All right. Now this is where the tree gets to be in the way a little bit. Hang up. Since we have a tree to lean it against. Save us a trip back up the hill. Looks pretty good. All right, that has our 2 back posts kind of installed. Let me show you what we're up against over here. So we're pretty well attached at the base. We're going to add some more bracing here eventually. Up here in the top, we're really close to this tree, and we have all these pine branches in the way. So I think we're going to use our saw and trim this tree a little bit, just to give us a little bit more room. So I brought my sawzall down to help cut the tops of these 4x4s off, but it should work on these limbs too. A lot of sap in there. So the distance between these back legs, outside to outside, is 9 feet exactly. So let's go ahead and cut a 2x6 to span those back legs and get them stiffened up a little bit. All right, we're going to shoot this back beam on 64 inches off the deck. That should give us enough room for the trailer, plus the 6 inches of the header board. Should be perfect. Now my question is, do I shoot it on the inside or the outside? I think we're going to put it on the inside, and that way we can support other things off of it. Sounds like a plan. Ready to have them? All right. So I think the next thing to do is put another front post right up here. We know it's exactly 9 feet across, and we're going to do the same thing, just a little bit from the top. We still don't have a plan. We're just kind of making it up as we go. Now, one big difference here on the corners, we could put 2 blocks to help support the post, but over here where the next post goes, we can only put a block on the front edge. I don't really think it's going to matter, because we are going to put sway braces up at the top and also at the bottom wherever it's practical. So we'll just get the post in position for right now and hope for the best. All right, the good news is, looking at these 2 posts, they seem like they're straight up and down. That's pretty good. Now, I was going to put a crossbar on here on the front, but then I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next bay. So I think I want to put that front crossbar on the back side of these posts. That way, when we do the other bays, we can put those on the front side of the post. I don't know, sounds kind of janky to me. Let me think about it for a minute. All right, with any luck, that was the most difficult one. Now we need to put a post right in the middle of these 2. Actually, not in the middle. We need to put it right in this corner, right here. So it needs to be set in and in this way. So the reason it needs to be set in here is because it needs to be in line with that post. So right here is where it needs to go. And it also needs to be in line with all the posts we're going to put on the back. So yeah, that should be fun. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We could measure from the back to there and figure out how far that is, and then do the same thing from this back to here and put the post right there. Or we could put that post way in the corner. We could put the one in the middle, and then we can just line them up, put this post in, and then by default, we'll know where this one goes. That sounds like a much easier way to do it than trying to measure 4 times and cut it once wrong and then do it over again. So we need to put our post supports here, but we have a little problem on this back corner. The decking board kind of goes over the edge about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to do the right thing and use our angle grinder. Perfect. You're a little low on air right there. Stay. All right, so we got that corner post in. We are not going to get away from measuring. We're going to have to figure out where the middle of this next bay is, because that's where the next post is going to go. So let's get that sorted out. We could also do the math off the front. We have our 2 posts over here. We could throw in this corner post and then just pick a spot in the middle. That might be the most correct way. That way at least the fronts will be nice and even, and then we'll just fill in the backs wherever they belong. We'll do that. So I don't know whose bad idea it was to put that brush hog right there in the middle of the table. I'm sure it was my bad idea, but it's all in the way of trying to get this corner all buttoned up, but we're going to work around it. All right, it may not seem like a lot of progress, but it is. We have all 4 corner posts installed, plus we have 1 middle bay, which means we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 posts left. That means we're over halfway done with the post. But then we got to do all the stuff around the top, so we have a lot more work. Next thing we need to do is find the middle between this post and that post, and put a post in the middle. That sounded a little redundant when I said it, but that's what I meant. Find the middle, find the center, put a post in the middle. Sure, that's right. I think the next thing we want to do is tie all these fronts together And then we want to tie this front corner to the back corner. Yeah, we can't do front corner to back corner. We don't know how tall that back post is supposed to be yet. We're not going to know that number until we pull a chalk line from this front corner to that back corner with this post in place, and that'll tell us how tall all of those back posts need to be. So let's just tie the fronts together. All right, so in this first bay, we shot this ledger board inside the leg. Here, I actually jumped to the outside of the leg for the middle bay, and then we'll go back to the inside of the leg for the last one. Now, unfortunately, that adds a little bit of complexity to the situation. Since the front legs are 8 feet tall, the back legs are 6 feet tall, everything's kind of sloping downhill. So this ledger board that's on the back side, well, means that this front one has to be just a little bit higher. And we did that. We pulled it up just maybe a 1/4 inch, and that made all the difference in the world going to the back. If we didn't do that, all the roof joists in this middle bay would be sagging about a 1/4 inch in the front, and we wouldn't want that to happen. That should be close enough. All right, so who decided putting this brush hog here was a good idea? Oh, my goodness. Things we have to deal with around here. All right, well, that has the whole front shot together. We have a corner post, a ledger board, a corner post, a ledger board, a corner post, ledger board. I don't know what all those things are called. We're going to say that looks good enough. All right, now that we have this post in place, we can snap a chalk line between there and up here, and we'll know exactly how much of that post to cut off. I think it sounds like a plan. Maybe. All right, we snapped our chalk line, which is a line from this front corner to this back corner. That's going to be the bottom of this joist that goes all the way across here. Unfortunately, the only piece of woods I have are 12 foot long. So we're going to overhang the front about 1.5 feet and just let it stick past this middle post wherever it goes. We're going to need to add another piece in here some other time. Now the right thing to do would be go back to the store and get some 16-foot material. I can almost do this without the ladder. Might be safer. One thing we do need to check is the spacing. We got to make sure it's level, both directions. I could use the level to do that, or I could just measure the bottom and the top and make them the same. Either way. All right, now that we have that in place, we know exactly how long that post should be, so we can cut it off, and then we'll measure the other post about, I don't know, maybe 1 inch shorter than that, just to make sure that we don't stick up into the roof section. So it would have been a lot easier to put this post in first, measure and cut it, and then put in this corner post. Because now we're gonna have to do the same thing over there that we did over here, and cut it off with no place to stand or no place to put the ladder. Bad planning. All right, now that we have that corner post cut off and we know how long the other posts are, let's go ahead and get this one in place and that one. That'll be all the posts. That's good. Before we shoot those legs on, let's go ahead and close up this edge. We already have the measurements. We're already here with the nail gun. Let's just do it. We'll say that's pretty good. All right, so the front overhang is starting to come together. We're going to put our roofing panel joists or stringers or whatever they're called going that way. The overhang is going to be 1.5 feet over the front of the shed, and the metal is going to hang out probably another 6 inches in front of that. We'll have about 2 feet of dry space in front of the barn. That's good. All right, we have a corner. We put our new leg in here. Let's go ahead and tie this back together. Maybe that'll help support the next leg. Probably. Perfect. Wow, that was a lot harder than it looked. All right, we have a corner here, the post we just put in. Way on the other side, we got to put a post right there somewhere. And then tie all this together. All right, we are getting so close. We have all of our posts in place. We have to tie this post over to here. All right, well, there's a whole bunch more work to do. But today we got our corner post in, all the way around, all of our intermediate posts. We have our extension in the back. We have a lot of the joist work done, everything tied together. Yeah, so we need to add up how many boards we need to finish everything on the roof and make a shopping list, go back to the lumber store. We also have to decide how many roof panels we need. Corrugated metal. I know we're going to need drip edge along the front. We're going to need all of the self-tapping screws for that. It sounds like a pretty long list, but I'm going to do some back of the napkin addition to get all of that added up. But you don't have to wait around for that. You guys get outside, do something fun, come back and tell me about it.